but I want to do a countdown, but I don't want to have to ask you to do a countdown.
Are you just gonna like randomly just count it down, or are you gonna let me know
I
when you're
want to.
gonna count it down?
I think you should know. I think you should know. I want to get to the point where I don't have to ask for a countdown. We just know what time it is.
Well, it's gonna take we're still trying to figure out how to do this, Noah. Like we're trying to figure out how to do a podcast. We're trying to figure out how to, you
I don't
know.
think you're getting the point, George. I want to count down right now, but I don't want to ask for a countdown.
Okay, we'll just do a countdown.
All right, fine. I'll do the countdown. Ready?
Okay.
Five, four, three, two, one, two, three, four, five, four, three, two, one. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
I feel like we always go
Scissors.
scissors, dude. All right.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh,
Oh, dude.
all right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Aha.
All right. This is the Duke and Howie podcast. Today, we're just going to be talking about our week, our lives, and all the scumbaggery that we have experienced throughout the week, whether that be our own doing or the doing of others. So, how's your week been?
That was good, dude.
It's been a productive week. Why don't you kind of explain? You started a business this year or last year, right?
Yeah, it was last year because we're in 2019 now. I technically, I don't know. I guess I've been working woodworking for like since 2017. But yeah, I started. So that's what I'm doing every day. I do woodworking, and this week I was finishing up some small projects, like personal things for people, all the little stuff, getting those out of the way, and then I went and I have a big project coming up this next week, and I'm going to try to get it done as quickly as possible. But I'm building a big dining table, and so these things take time.
Yeah, I can
So
imagine.
I got ready for that this week, and other than that, I mean, nothing crazy exciting.
Yeah, we started this podcast this week, so that
Oh
was
yeah,
good. Uh,
that's fun.
yeah, it's kind of crazy because we wanted to do this for a while, so we just talked about it every day for like 6 months, right? So finally we did that, and that's pretty cool. It's been great.
What we did was we kept talking about things, just like,
Right.
did you hear about this happening? Or we would get into some conversation about something, and then halfway through it, we'd be like, man, this would be good to record,
Mm-hmm.
because of the things, I don't know, that could just be our perception,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we think that we're talking about really deep, cool things, and really it's just like we're just a couple of idiots, and everyone else has realized way more than we have, and we're just the couple of guys that haven't gotten it yet. We
Right.
stumble upon these little eggs that everyone already knows
These
about.
little nuggets, these little nuggets of
Yeah,
wisdom. We're like, oh man, that's. I don't know, man. I do
it's
think
all
that,
that's
I do think, Howie, that you see the world in a very unique way. Otherwise, I wouldn't want to start this podcast with you. That's why I ask you a lot of weird questions. But yeah, man, it was pretty good to be able to start this podcast. I really enjoy it. I've had a very hard week, man. I really have. I would say.
I
Um,
didn't ask. I didn't ask about your week.
oh, sorry,
I'm just kidding.
sorry.
That's the whole point of the podcast, George. You didn't have to ask me. You should be able to talk about your week without me having to ask.
I know. I know.
Just like the
I just feel
intro.
like when you ask, it means that you care. You know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I understand where you're getting at, but just like the intro, I shouldn't have to ask for a countdown. You know,
Well,
but you shouldn't have to ask for
you're
me to ask about your week.
yeah, you're a strong, independent male. If you want to do a countdown, you can do a countdown. Whatever you want to do a countdown. If you want to, are you going to get over this though? Because I really feel like at this point, I At this point, I'm married to two people. I feel like if we're
Oh
gonna have
yeah.
conversations like this, yeah. Like I shouldn't have to ask you to pick up after you cook dinner. You know, I shouldn't have to ask you to put toilet paper on the toilet paper roll.
We heard about your week, Noah. You never asked me about mine.
You're always talking about your week, man.
Dude, tell me
I,
about your week, man. I want to hear about it.
well, it was a pretty good week. The craziest thing is like I had an appointment with the doctor. You're the one who pointed out to me that I probably have ADD, which is a really crazy thing for me because, I kind of am more traditional with my values as a guy, so I want to be able to conquer the world with my own strength. But man, I've been so distracted, and I see that, I dropped out of high school and I dropped out of college, and luckily I've been able to keep a really phenomenal job down. I've accomplished a lot, regardless of all that, but I'm realizing now that a lot of it has to do with my ADD. Man, it's so severe. So I sat down with a doctor and talked to them, and they're like, "Yeah, like you have severe ADD, man." And so they prescribed me some medication. So I've been taking medication for the past 2 days. It's been great, actually. Kind of feel like I'm sitting in the dark, in a room, trying to write down stuff, and someone turns the light on, and I'm like, "Oh wow, I can see. Now I can do this better." I feel like
Yeah.
that's been my life.
Yeah.
So
No, that's it for real though, dude. Medication's the best. Um, you don't have to share what you're prescribed to. I know some people are weird about the medications that they take. For me, I don't mind sharing. I've been what is it? When I was in high school, I took Adderall in high school because I had like severe ADD, and a lot of people don't believe that ADD exists. It
right,
does. It's a
yeah.
thing. It's a thing.
What is
And
What is ADD like for you, man? Like, what
for
is it?
me,
Yeah.
I don't, dude. I didn't even know that I had it because when I was in it, like I didn't know I was doing anything wrong.
Right.
But my mom was like, "There's like this is not normal. This is crazy." It wasn't just. It was beyond like just a child getting distracted by everything. It was like that. Like there was nothing I could do, and I got super obsessive and compulsive. I don't know, and distracted. There's nothing I could focus on.
Mm.
And I remember going to. I remember going to the doctor, and they were like, "You need Adderall, and you don't just need a little bit of Adderall. You need a lot of Adderall." And so I took Adderall,
Yeah.
and I got a prescription of Adderall in high school, and it was like, it was like, have you ever watched The Matrix?
Yes. I
It's
love The
like
Matrix,
that.
dude.
It's just like that.
It just kind of
It's like
slows
The
everything
Matrix.
around. Like you can
Yeah, dude.
see.
You ever watch Over the Hedge?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know that the little squirrel
Uh huh.
in Over the Hedge. You know how when he drinks that Red Bull,
Yeah.
and like the lasers in the yard, like the laser traps are like going, and he's like observing them moving in slow motion.
Yeah.
That's what it was like. Actually, it was. All these people that take Adderall are listening to this, and they're going to be like,
What?
"It's not like that at all."
Yeah.
That's you're misrepresenting the drug. It's
Right.
no, it's not like that. It helped me a lot though, and
Yeah.
it made me like when I was in school and I was sitting down in front of like an assignment,
Mm-hmm.
instead of like going, "Man, I don't want to do this," and I don't really care about the consequences. I was like, "Man, I'm here, so I might as well just do it." And then when I started
Right.
doing it, I was like, "I'm going to do this to the best of my ability." And I feel
Dude.
like a lot of people feel that way, and without medicine, and I didn't know what it was like to feel that way. And anyways, but long story short, or actually, long story, the way that I want to tell it, I didn't take any medication when I graduated high school. That was it. Like I stopped going to the doctor and getting medication
Yeah.
for years. And then I came back. I moved back home from living in Los Angeles for 3 years, and I started working again. And I was like, man, this is hard. Maybe I need to get back on medication. So I went to the doctor, and I was like, I don't want to do the hard, like a lot of medication. I just want to do a little bit. So I told the doctor, I was like, can we just do a little bit, see how that works? And I tried a little bit. And I take Ritalin now. I do like a 10 milligram, like a little one,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm like, that's enough, and that helps. And I don't need like the 20 milligram time release. I don't need to be in the matrix. I don't need to be hammy from over
Yeah.
that, you know. So, but yeah, I don't know how was your experience on your medication been this week?
Well, it's actually been pretty good, man, because I've been able to. So, let me describe to you a little bit how my ADD was. I didn't know I had ADD for the longest time, and people just thought I was kind of lazy and I procrastinated a lot. I thought I was lazy and procrastinated a lot. But I would have these like weeks where I'd be super motivated. I would write down all my goals. I would go and just knock them out and destroy them, just a week. And then the next 2 or 3 weeks is like, I'm just dead. I don't even like, I remember I was sitting, I have 70 games on my Steam, and I was going through each one. Just, I would start it up. I'd play it for 5 minutes and then go to the next game and then go to the next game, go to the next game. I didn't want to do any of that stuff, to the point to where I just decided to take a nap instead because I just didn't want to do anything. And it's kind of weird. I didn't know I had it until you pointed it out, because I would get really amped up on an idea, and then for a week, and then the next week it would just die. So for me, my ADD also kind of manifests in a couple different areas. Particularly like in my relationships were really damaged by it. And I created a lot of coping mechanisms throughout my life, to kind of deal with this stuff. But like I could never remember birthdays, special days. I have a friend, and his wife's been pregnant for the last 7 months. And it's all like every time I see them and I hang out with him, I'm like, oh yeah, she's pregnant, because I just can't remember anything. and so I've been taking medication only for the last 2 days, and I take a different medication. It's Wellbutrin, because I also was diagnosed with mild depression. And so, and I'm ADD inattentive. So I'm not the hyperactive type. I'm the inattentive type. Anyhow, so I was diagnosed with Wellbutrin, and it usually has a 7-day load period where you take it for 7 days before you feel the full effects. But I'll let you know, man. I took it yesterday for the first time, and this may be because it was on a empty stomach, and I was able to focus. Like I was able to be fully involved and not just like what I was doing, but like who I was with. You know what I mean? And that was the weirdest thing for me.
Yeah.
Because even when I'm with people, sometimes I'm thinking about the next thing that I'm doing, or what I have to do after, or what I would rather be doing, or and when I'm having conversations with people, I'm not thinking about what they're saying. I'm thinking about all the things that I could say, or all the things that, my mind just
Yeah.
goes.
Oh yeah. Talking to you on the phone was a nightmare. Is a nightmare.
Well,
sometimes, not all the time.
So anyhow, that's how it affected my relationships. And with my goals, it was really hard because I would sit down I'm pursuing my realtor's license now. I want to be pursuing a master's degree. I've decided, and so I just sitting down and doing things that I didn't feel like doing. Like most men say, man up, right? Just do it. You have to do it, and I want to, but I would literally sit down, and my body would be paralyzed. So the reason I wanted to pursue medication was because I wanted my mind and the way I felt to kind of align. Like I shouldn't be paralyzed because I didn't want to do something. That's ridiculous.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited.
It does all kinds of it really. I mean, if there's probably people listening right now that are like, wow, I feel that way sometimes, and there's probably some people that don't feel that way sometimes.
Right.
And there's some people that might relate to everything that you're saying. If you're struggling, you should probably go to a doctor and ask.
Talk to someone about it.
Just talk to them about it. It's cool. It's helped me a lot. It's helped me run my business, that's for sure. Yeah. It's really helped me run my business. And that's been good. And
it's been kind of the difference, with you, Noah, Howie, with you, Howie, man. Sometimes I can tell when you don't take your Ritalin just talking to you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just went 2 weeks without taking it over the Christmas break.
Yeah.
I don't need to when I'm on vacation, you know.
Right.
It was also what is it? It was also there was a national shortage or something like
Like a
that. So
national
I
shortage.
couldn't get it. I couldn't get it for a while,
Yeah.
but I guess they fixed it. I don't know how that works, but
I have no idea. They did the same thing when we were going to Kenya with doxycycline. Remember that when we were supposed to
oh
get?
yeah.
That's why I got malaria.
I remember getting the malaria pills and I spent like $350
Yeah.
on malaria pills. And we get there and I took them for like a week and I was like, ugh.
Yeah. They were like $3 a pill because of the shortage. It was
And
terrible.
I stopped taking them like after a week. And I never got malaria. I don't think I did at least. I know you did.
Yeah, I got pegged by that mosquito, man. Got me.
At Skeeter.
So yeah, man. So my week has been. I'm gonna approach. You know, I've been having a pretty severe episode of ADD. That's how I describe it. It's like an episode where I'm like, 1 week I'm really focused, or 2 weeks I'm really focused. And I'm achieving my goals and being extremely productive. And then the next couple of weeks I'm not. I'm just a slob. Um. So Monday I'm gonna approach it, and I'm all in. Monday's gonna be an all in week for me. I'm planning it, so I'm excited.
Yeah. But you said you're working on your house too. What kind of house projects do you have?
Well, I plan on renting this home out because passive income is a huge thing. We can have a whole podcast on that, I'm sure. But I'm going to start doing house rentals, and so I'm going to be renovating this office. That I'm currently in. I need to finish. I need to, I don't know, complete a lot of things. Some minor stuff, thresholds, crown molding. I just put some shelves up in the bathroom. I need to paint. Do a lot of painting. I hate painting. So if you're in the Midwest and you like painting, come to my house and paint my house, please. I hate it. It's the worst. I don't get how people do it for a living.
Dude, I don't know how a lot of people do a lot of things for a living.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I remember one time at my old house. No. This was okay. So I worked in the propane industry for a while, right? I've heard every Hank Hill joke in the book, so don't even think about it. I don't want to hear it. And I remember we were doing some kind of propane work, and there was this guy who pumped septic tanks, and he was there pumping a septic tank while we were doing a job. And I remember, I remember he had the big old hose in the hole sucking out all the septic, and he looked over at us and said, "Man, these people are corn eaters." And I thought to myself, that is a job that I never want to do.
Yeah, we would call those guys when I'd work in construction. We called them they were the chili men.
Chili,
Like, oh, the chili men are here because that's what they're
chili men.
Yeah, they're sucking out
Dude,
the vaults and the porta potties and stuff.
Dude, he said those guys were corn eaters.
Could you imagine? Like it's like, oh, how was that site? Oh man, them guys eat a lot of corn.
That's what you do, That's what you do. You wake up every day and you get to go decide whether people eat a lot of corn or not. And
hey,
yeah,
here's the reality
like,
though,
whoa.
man, is if you are like if you're paid well and you do that job and you like it and you could do that all the time, dude, good on you. Cuz
Yeah,
you're a beast. I could not. I worked in Yosemite National Park, okay? And a lot of the bathrooms are hooked up to like a singular septic system that goes to a water purification thing that's like down the Merced River. I had to go clean out a utility station. They're like, hey, go clean out this utility station. And I had no idea what that was. Okay. So I go into this underground station. So you walk in and it's just stairs straight underground. And I walk into the station and it is the station, like you go down the hatch and you were blasted with a smell that is so vile that a gallon of milk would curdle if you left it there. You know what I mean? It just smelled so bad. People would weep, if they were made of weaker stuff. And what had happened was, and I didn't know this, but the senior guys knew this. What had happened was, so you walk in, and it's like this metal grating that you walk on that's kind of a platform over a river of poo.
Wow. How many people were in the park? Were there like 1 million people there all the time,
there's
just blasting?
It's about 4 million people a year, or a season. Yeah.
Dude, so there is a constant river of just
Of poo
poo
underneath Yosemite.
underneath Yosemite.
And so our job was, what had happened was that the rain caused a surge that came up above the grating that we were walking on. It's like a see-through grating. You could see everything underneath it. So, like underwear and a bunch of stuff had gotten pushed up and stuck,
No.
and we had to go down and spray it out and sweep it and throw up into the river
Oh no.
beneath our feet. Raw sewage.
You threw up on the job?
When we were doing those vaults, man, and cleaning the utilities, I threw up. I threw up a lot.
Absolutely.
But I was
Man,
16. I was making $14 an hour,
my gosh, dude.
and that was a lot of money for a 16-year-old.
Yeah, that is a lot of money for 16.
Yeah.
That's good money. Yeah, no, I definitely would not have done that job. I wouldn't do that job now for that much money.
I wouldn't.
No,
I mean,
thank you.
I make more money than that at my current job, so I definitely, if I had the option between cleaning poo, well, so I've had to a couple of times before. I've had clients. I work with mentally disturbed youth, and I've had clients that have had, smeared poop on the walls, drew pictures and stuff. So you got to go in and clean that. That's always fun.
Dude, I worked at a summer camp for like 5 years. No, not 5 years. It was 4 years, or maybe 3 even. I think something like that.
Yeah.
And dude, I'll tell you what. Some of the most incredible things. You see some of the most incredible things in those camp bathrooms. I'll tell you what. There was a bathroom. It was the boys' bathroom. It was right by our cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked there, so it was me and like a whole bunch of volunteer staff that were in a volunteer program.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, 15 or 16 years old.
Yeah.
And every day, our job in the morning, or every other day, and our job in the morning was to clean this boys' bathroom. It was the bathroom that all the campers used.
Right.
And we used it too.
Yeah.
And they called it the Pink Nasty. And let me tell you, there was a crew. It was an all-girls crew. They were called the housekeeping crew. We were the field crew. There was the dish pit crew, and then there was the store crew. And we all had our own designated jobs for the whole summer, and we helped make the camp run, right?
Right.
But the girls that ran the housekeeping crew were like, listen, your bathroom is too gross. We don't want to subject our girls to that. It's just too hardcore.
Yeah.
And so they were like, all right, then the field crew boys are going to have to clean it. So, we were out in the fields every day, like mowing grass and weed whacking and doing like lifting things or whatever, just doing all the work that nobody wants to do. And so in the morning, our job was to clean this bathroom. They call it the Pink Nasty. Okay.
The bathroom's called the Pink Nasty.
It was, yeah, because the bathroom, it's all pink.
Why?
The color, the floor, the ceiling, the walls, the toilets, everything was pink. They called it the Pink Nasty.
Wow. That's wonderful. That's beautiful.
So that's, they call it pink because it was pink. They call it the nasty because like the most unnatural things occurred in that bathroom.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, no, seriously. I've seen it all, dude. One day we walked in, we're cleaning the bathroom and I open up a stall and I don't know how this happened. I don't know how somebody is physically capable of doing this. But dude, there was a turd laid out in this toilet that That was like, it was like,
It looks like
dude,
you're
it was
holding
the,
up a cat. It's like you're holding up. There were. Uh,
it would have been comparable, really.
that's awful.
It was a horse penis
That's
sized turd.
oh
Okay, in
oh.
this toilet, and it was like coming out of the toilet, like the person kind of rose up out of the seat,
I'm worried about this individual.
just. Yeah, no, seriously, this person definitely
This guy was
prolapsed
sick.
themselves. Yeah, they're not well. Very strong pelvic floor. I mean, that late whatever this was, and we called it the bloody butt baby.
Yeah. I
Oh, dude,
I
yeah,
oh
man,
man, I cannot believe. Okay.
dude.
All right.
There's another one.
Oh,
I
go
got one.
ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead.
This,
I
I
got
mean,
I got a
this one,
couple. I got a couple.
dude. There was another one. We clean the same every day, so I saw it all. I have tons of them, not even going to share, but this one was good because I've never seen anything like it. It was a turd in the toilet. It was bright orange, and at the very top there was a green little poof. It looked like a carrot, like a perfect carrot. You would you would mistaken it. You would mistaken it for a carrot, and it was just this like carrot in a toilet. But you look closer, it was like, dude,
Oh,
that's a turd. You could tell it was wild. It's a poo. Somebody pooed a carrot, dude. It was perfect.
oh man. All right,
Never
dude.
seen anything like it.
That's pretty hardcore, dude.
Yeah, dude.
That is.
Oh, it was incredible.
So yeah, like I said, I worked with I still do work with youth that have behavioral disorders, like they've been kicked out of their homes, they've been taken into custody. It's kind of like right before juvie, you know. It's like, hey, this is your last chance, or we're gonna send you to juvie. So I work in that kind of facility. And something happened recently to one of my coworkers that was pretty shocking. We had this fairly large client, and he hated one of the guys that I worked with. And so he got so mad that he went into the bathroom, he pooped, and he smeared it over himself like war paint. And this guy, huge guy.
Dude.
And he came out and on foot chased the staff around, like trying to hug him, smeared in poo,
Oh,
like war paint. Dude. Funniest thing I've ever
so
seen.
was his name Tom Hardy?
Probably. That
No. Have you seen that movie?
I have not.
Dude, there's a movie called The Bronson. It's called The Bronson, starring Tom Hardy, and he goes to jail, and he causes a lot of trouble, and when the police come to beat him up, he just smears himself in his own poo and fights police officers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude. And he's completely naked and smeared in poo, and he just like fights people, and it's crazy. That's pretty much the whole movie. It's just Tom Hardy smearing himself in poo and fighting people. So you should definitely watch it. It's very good.
I live it. I don't need to watch it.
Okay. It's called The Bronson.
When I go home, I try to, I've been working there for a long time. I've seen a lot of really awful, really crazy, really just funny things. But I turn off. You know what I mean? You walk in, you turn off. You're just like, click, I'm not here, and then you turn into kind of a different person. We're just like, oh look, hey, oh yeah, you're covered in poo again. Go change, Whereas if I was in the normal world and not at my job, I'd be screaming like, get away from me, scumbag, So
Yeah, dude.
yeah, you become someone else. So that's yeah. So anyhow, let's move on from the poo stuff, man. That's some people might really like that. So if you really like poo stuff, you're on the wrong website. We're not going to talk about that a lot.
Yeah. No, yeah. Okay. That's fine. I have way more poop stories.
Oh yeah.
I mean, dude, I have millions. Like, I pride myself on my poop stories, man. It's like one of the.
What is a good story? Let's hear a good story from Howie.
All right, I got a good story. I mean, if we're moving away from poop stories, I got a good story. Okay.
Go ahead.
I had a good story. I heard about this story when I was now. Well, this is a true story. Okay. Um, I heard about this. This happened when I was in high school. Okay. And what happened was, and now this is my dad's cousin. Okay. My dad's cousin is
No, this is
married.
not going to be
And,
criminal, right? This is not a criminal.
no, this is
Okay.
hilarious.
I just don't
This
want.
this
I'm
is
just worried. I'm worried for your dad's cousin. You're you're
is
worrying
the
me.
it, is the word midget is offensive, right? We're not allowed to say that.
They're called people of little no, or little
Oh,
people. People of
okay.
little stature.
Little people. All right, little person. We're gonna say little person for this story. And so my dad's cousin has a son who is autistic, severely autistic.
Is he the midget?
No, he's not.
Okay.
He is not the midget. He's not the little person.
What do they call?
Um,
What do they call Tyrion? What's he called? He's called the.
the
What is
dwarf. They call him a dwarf,
yeah, the dwarf.
right? Yeah, they call him
Yeah.
the dwarf. Yeah. So um, he is he's a severely autistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're always at home with him, and they don't put him in. They don't like send him out to do things with groups and stuff like that all the time.
Right.
One day, the neighborhood, somebody down the street was having a party, and they were like, "All right, we're gonna go down to the party for a little while, and um, we're gonna leave." I forget what his name was. It was like Steven. We'll say Steven. We'll leave Steven here at the house, and we're gonna go to the party and hang out. So they told him, hey, if anything goes wrong, you just call us and we'll come right home. They were just a couple houses down,
Right.
and they'd be back in an hour or so. And so they go. I think it was his wife actually that went. So his wife goes, and then they, she's there for like 20 minutes, and she gets a phone call. And the phone call, her phone rings. She answers it. She goes, "Hello," and it's the son. The son says, "Hey, what do gnomes eat?"
Okay.
And she's like, "Honey, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. But I'm at the party, so I'm gonna let you go."
No.
And so
Okay.
she hangs up or whatever, and
What
he
did
calls back like
what did no?
he calls
All right,
she
continue on
calls
it.
back. He calls back like 5 minutes later,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Hey, mom, do gnomes eat cereal?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure, gnomes eat cereal." And then she hangs up. He calls back again about 5 minutes later, and he goes, "Hey, mom, do gnomes eat Skittles? Do they like Skittles?" And she's like, "Okay, this is weird. He's called me 3 times. I'm just gonna go home."
Yeah.
She goes home, right?
Could you
And the
imagine?
door.
Could you imagine leaving that party like, hey, I gotta leave. My son is, talking about gnomes and trying to
I
find
don't think
food.
I don't think she told anybody. She probably just like, "All right, thanks for having me. I'll come get my crock pot later, kind of whatever.
Yeah,
But
I gotta go pick up a bag of Skittles for my child's gnome.
right, well, so she goes home. The door, she opens the door, and the rug is moved, and there's like the table, or it looked like there had been a struggle. Okay,
Okay.
in the room, and she was like, and she goes upstairs, and Steven is in his room, and the door is shut. His closet door is shut.
Okay.
There's the dresser. He moved the dresser in front of the door,
Yeah.
and there's Skittles and cereal all over the floor.
Okay.
And there's this dude pounding, "Let me out! Let me out!" So she moves the dresser drawer out of the way, and he opens the door, and it's this little person in there. He was a census collector. And so he came to collect the census. And Steven opened the door and didn't know what he was looking at.
Oh man!
And
he
he grabbed
stole
him.
him. He stole him.
Dude, he grabbed him, man, and he wanted to keep the gnome that he found, man. And he was trying to feed it. He was trying to feed the guy. He was trying to feed the guy Skittles and cereal, and 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 the guy said, he didn't want to press charges because because you could hear Stephen calling the mom on the phone saying,
Yeah.
I knew that I was okay.
Dude, we have to find that. We have to get this guy on our podcast, Noah.
He said, no,
we need to get him on this podcast.
He said, I knew that I was okay when I heard him asking if gnomes eat cereal and Skittles.
Yeah.
He said at that point he wasn't worried. And so dude, yeah, so there's that. But all right, now it's a good story.
That was a good. I don't have anything like that.
That's a good. No, dude, it's okay, man. I feel terrible. It's not a true story.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard that somewhere when I was younger. I heard that somewhere, and they you got to tell it like you lived it.
Yeah.
I totally just fooled you and everybody that is listening to this.
Yeah,
right?
that was.
It's
still funny. It's still funny.
I don't think it's true. I think that I heard that it was a fake story that a lot of people not a lot of people, but some people tell as a true story. There's a couple stories like that. There's one of them. I got another one. If you want to hear it,
go ahead. That was.
But now I've disclosed the story, so this one's fake, and so. Or maybe it's not. I don't know for sure. But maybe this next one is real. Maybe it's not. I'll leave it for you guys to decide.
I'm not convinced, okay. Noah. You're not convincing anyone.
All right. I'm not convincing anybody.
No one's convinced. You've broken down that fourth wall, man.
I did. I broke it. But this is a good story nonetheless.
A magician never tells. But let's hear the story.
You decide. All right, so there's this chick, right?
Okay.
It's my brother's friend had this girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
And and she has this pet. She had this pet boa constrictor. It was a banana boas, the big yellow ones.
Right.
Right, and they get really big, right? But this one wasn't that big. It was like medium sized. I don't know. They get big, but you can have them. Dan Bilzerian posts pictures with boas and crocodiles and stuff all the time. They're pretty big. This one apparently wasn't that big. It was big enough though. Mm-hmm. And she really was super into the snake. She's one of those reptile people.
Yeah.
The earrings and the nose piercing, right? And the eyebrow piercing, whatnot.
Yeah.
And just a total
hisses at people when they make her mad.
And so, and she really loved this snake, and it was pretty chill snake. So when she went to bed at night, she would let it curl up at her, on top of the blanket by her feet because she was warm, mm-hmm. and it would just kind of chill there. One morning she woke up and the snake was stretched out all across the length of the bed or whatever.
Yeah.
It's that's weird, but he was just chilling, just
right.
laying, stretched out real stiff. And he was stiff. It took him a while to get himself back into a coil, and then he didn't eat for 2 weeks, which I know snakes don't eat that often anyway. But
yeah, sometimes they don't eat for a while.
Yeah, but he didn't eat for 2 weeks, and he kept doing that whenever she let the snake sleep on the bed with her. And so she was like, "I'm just gonna take to a vet." So she took the snake to a vet.
Okay.
She told the vet, "Yeah, I don't know what's going on. He's not eating. He keeps standing stiff." Or whatever, when along the bed and blah blah blah, and the doctor was like, "Oh man," he's like, "You cannot be letting this snake sleep in your bed. In fact, I would probably just get rid of the snake if I were you." And she was like, "Why?" Like, "Because the snake is laying alongside you like that, because it's sizing you up to eat you."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so she got rid of the snake because it freaked her out.
Is that true though? Do snakes do that?
No.
Snakes don't do that?
I don't know if they do or not. It sounds totally plausible, just like the Steven and the Skittles.
Right. Oh man, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I have no idea if that's a true story or not
well,
until he made
there's
it
a
up.
there are
I didn't make it up. I heard it before.
while we were in Kenya, there was a man eater, right? A man eating boa,
It was a goat eater.
goat eater. Well, goat and a man are similar.
Dude, remember that goat that looked like Gandalf?
Yeah, dude, that goat was badass.
Yeah, dude. That goat. I remember that goat was like the leader of the pack of goats they had, and he looked
Yeah,
like Gandalf with his giant beard, his huge horns.
dude, he had massive. Like we used to grab him by the horns,
Yeah.
and he would try to like
And he'd start shouting, "You shall not pass!"
"Ah!
Oh,
Ah!"
yeah, no, he looked like Gandalf. He's very wise.
He did.
Yeah,
I did ask him some questions, and he gave me some good. He was an oracle.
some good answers. He had some good answers. It's a good answers. Mostly, he was a vegan.
Yeah, he was very open about that. He's
He
like,
was a very,
I only eat grass fed grass.
he, yeah, he was a vegan.
I'm only
to
grass
him?
fed. Yeah.
No, no, seriously though, like my problem with vegans is like, all right, you want us to all eat vegetables and stuff, and that's great, but my argument is that we don't have to eat vegetables because the animals do that for us, right?
Right.
So we're getting all the vegetables we need from the animals
From
already.
meat.
'Cause the vegetables are in the meat. It's like a double whammy. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. We just eat vegetables because that's what people tell us to do. Like
But we don't
people.
even need to.
No.
You know?
No. The
No.
food pyramid is a myth. If there was the real food pyramid, the bottom level is going to be poultry. So it's going to be like, chicken. The next level is going to be pork because these are lesser meats. But like I'm going to say like pork chops because pork loin, it's kind of fluid after that point because like I feel like there's good pork loin that's pretty high up there on the list. Bacon, pretty high up there on the food pyramid. But the very tippy top, is your T-bones, your and that is the whole food pyramid.
Dude, I think that I think food pyramids are subjective, man. My food pyramid, the best thing that's healthy for me, and like this is like this is my personal truth,
Okay.
is that my bacon is my food pyramid. So
I do just, I want to
I always
honor
feel good when I eat bacon.
I want to honor and respect your lived experience. And if that something that brings you life, you do you.
Well, I'm alive, right? And all I eat is bacon.
You. Bacon,
So,
bacon is the second to highest tier on my. Except today I went to a restaurant, man. I'll be honest. I don't leave a lot of scathing reviews on restaurants unless they're terrible. Like I feel like when you go to a restaurant, like it needs to be better than how I can cook. Like if I go to a restaurant and the food is worse than how I could cook it, then it shouldn't be a restaurant. It should be like fast food.
that's the best thing I've ever heard.
And so I went to a restaurant today because I wanted the most American disgusting breakfast burrito ever. I just wanted it loaded with bacon, eggs, and cheese, and jalapenos, man.
Yeah.
And so if I could get the white gravy on it, like breakfast gravy, that would have been the best. So that's what I wanted.
Right.
So I showed up to this restaurant. They had taken their breakfast burritos. I had known they had breakfast burritos. They took them off the menu.
Mm.
And they replaced them with omelets, dude. And I think omelets are cool, but I don't think omelets are that cool. I don't think they're cool enough to have their whole 2 pages of omelets.
Right. Yeah, dude. It's like a Green Day cover band,
Right. It's just not good. So anyhow, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a skillet. So I got the skillet. And like when you go to Applebee's or something, you get a skillet and they bring it out to you and it's sizzling. It's like,
yeah.
And they put it out in front of you. It's a cast iron skillet.
Right.
They brought out a lukewarm aluminum pan. that was like, it had a handle on it. You know what I mean? It's like I had to move the handle around just to put it down on the table. The food was lukewarm, and I had this fat piece of bacon, like huge. It looked smoked, right? And I was like, that looks great.
Yeah,
But I
that's
think
all you need.
But I think the bacon that was actually one of the pieces of fake bacon that they use in their pictures that they gave me because I couldn't chew it. And the skillet tasted like nothing. It was like literally they mixed hash browns in with eggs. Dude, it was awful. Anyhow, that was the first time I've ever eaten bacon and hated it.
Oh man.
I hated the experience.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, it was worse than homemade beef jerky. People that don't know how to make homemade beef jerky, and they give you a bag.
So what did they? You left a review?
Yeah, I left a pretty angry review.
They're serving you. They're serving you a pink nasty turd, dude.
Well, I spent $23 on breakfast this morning, and
Oh.
And you know what? I didn't want to give them my money.
Right.
And I'm not the kind of guy that stands up and makes a scene because that's not going to do anything. Right.
Right.
What's that going to do? They're going to be like, okay, we'll give you a free meal. Dude, I never want to eat there again. I'm never going to eat there again. I don't want a free meal. I would rather publicly shame them than get a free meal from them. They're the most disgusting restaurant I've eaten at here.
Do you think reviews are, because some people, because I've left one review ever of all time, right? I got one review. Actually, I got two. But I only have ever given one bad review, and the other one was a really good review. And those are the only two reviews I've ever done. I did them on Yelp, but my bad review was really, really good, and I screenshotted it because it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But it got deleted, so I'm glad that I screenshotted it because it's also incredibly offensive. And but anyways, I tell people about the review I left. Sometimes I read it to them. It's funny, and they're like, "Oh, you're that guy. Like you're the guy that leaves reviews on Yelp."
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, no, I've only left two, but is that a stereotype? And so
is that a guy now? I didn't realize that was a guy.
Dude, it's totally a guy. I think South Park makes fun of it.
Yeah.
But I didn't think about that. But what? So do you think that? I think it's beneficial to leave reviews.
I don't know. I think it's a double-edged sword because, well, let's take video games. I kind of fell into this trap, and I've been thinking about it a lot. I play a lot of video games. I build my own computers, and a lot of the games that I love in life would have gotten terrible reviews if they were made today. You know what I mean? They would just because like think about Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Did you ever play that for the Nintendo 64? Dude, that game was a buggy mess. It had so many bugs in it.
Oh man, you're gonna get so much hate on this podcast.
But it was one of the best games I've ever played. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, don't kill me, yeah. But anyhow, and so what I decided to start doing is, I no longer watch reviews or gameplay footage of a game that I want to play. And I no longer read reviews. All I read is the description, and I watch a YouTube video on whether or not I'm going to like the graphics. Because that's a big deal for me. And so far, dude, that's really... I bought some really great games and enjoyed them because they weren't spoiled for me. So...
yeah.
I kind of think that reviews are good. I think reviews are good for food, but food's pretty subjective as well. So like,
oh yeah, so are video games.
That's true. That's why I don't read.
Eating food is like playing a video game, man.
Right, but if the service is terrible, like you told me that time where you ordered pizza. Remember that? Was that the review you're talking?
That's the one bad review that I've ever done.
Yeah, dude, that was the whole experience.
Dude, it was terrible. It was the worst thing ever. It was.
Tell the story about this. This is a good story.
Well, yeah, dude. No, I intended to. the worst service I've ever had, man. It's a local pizza place, and I guess I won't say the name of it here on the podcast. I don't know.
No,
I might by the end
no,
of this.
I don't want you to. I don't want you
George.
to. I don't want you more personal location kind of stuff.
All right, fine. I won't. I
Yeah,
won't say it.
I don't want people to
But
know where you live, Noah, because if they, because you're an attractive man, right? I don't want you to be stalked and
did I already
knocked
say it by
out.
accident?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
I don't want you to be
Yeah.
drug into an alleyway. I don't want someone to stroke your beard with you unconscious.
Okay.
All
I
right.
wouldn't want that either. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't say it.
Okay.
This is
You're
the
right.
internet. This is a
I'll
den
say
of.
this.
We're in a den of wolves, man. We are but lambs.
I will say this. I won't say the name, but I want to.
Okay.
And the name the name of the place is the punchline to the joke review that I wrote. So that's it. Kind of ruins the story.
No, it doesn't. Just tell about the service. No.
All right, I'll tell him. Well, yeah, I'll tell him the service, man. God, I ordered a pizza. It was me and all my buddies. We're all hanging out, right?
Yeah.
Order some pizza. We order some wings, okay? And you know, an hour goes by and it's not there, and I'm like, okay, dude, we'll call them up, see what's up. They're not closed yet. They close at 10. Calling at 9:50. It's like 9:52,
Yeah.
9:53. It's not 10, right? And I still would have called at 10, by the way, full disclosure, because I know there's still people walking around there, and they might pick
Right.
up the phone, and my pizza's not here yet, and I paid for it, and it's on its way.
Yeah. You paid it.
So,
It was a lot of money too, right?
I don't know. It's like, it's money, and they're a business, so, and they're providing a service for money, and if they want that money and they want a good reputation, then they better at least provide the minimum, which is delivering the food, right?
Right. Right.
So, so I called up the place. It's like, you know, bring, 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 bring. Dude picks up nine. It was like 9:52. He goes, "We are closed. Do not call back. Please do not call back. We are closed." And just hangs up. And I was like, "Oh, okay. I'm definitely calling back."
Right.
So I called back. Doesn't answer. Doesn't answer. I called like 15 times because I was pissed that he said that to me. And he didn't even hear me out. He just hung up right immediately. And I know that these people, I know people that have worked there, and I know that they drank while they work. And I think that that was what was going on here, is that they were just kind of like getting towards the end of their day, and they had been drinking a little bit. It's Saturday night, and they're kind of all ready to go home, and they got a little buzz going at work, and they're just kind of like done answering the phone, right? And I'm the guy that answered to check on his pizza, and I just got the "we don't want to talk to you," bam. So I called back like 15 more times because I was pissed.
Yeah.
And he answers, and he's like, "If you call back again, you can speak to my beautiful sister." And he hangs up. And I was like, "Uh-oh."
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, dude, it was a little incesty. Wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Right.
By the way,
That's just a weird thing to drop. I mean, where
It's
you
kind of
live,
place.
you're kind of in the boonies.
it's the kind of place
You're in the woods.
that dude, it's the kind of place where that might happen. So beautiful sister, not even like a mean sister or like assertive sister. It had to be beautiful sister.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you, I called back and there was nothing beautiful about her, at least the way she sounded. And I mean, I imagine all three teeth, and the saliva squirting past them while she was yelling at the phone at me. And bam, hang up. And I was like, oh my God. I was pissed. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, the pizza driver shows up, and after like an hour and a half, and he is like, I go out and he's smashed. He's drunk and he's bragging about it, and he's driving, and he is
Yeah.
driving pizzas, delivering pizzas.
He's a loser, dude.
And he's an older guy, and he's also, there's another part of the story, but I can't say it, so I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even have said that. I should just not have said the part. whatever. I ruined everything. Um, yeah, and I told him, I was like, dude, listen, man, I just called the place. I got hung up on 3 times. This is what they said to me, and I'm angry. What, like, what should I do?
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he's like, man, well, I wouldn't go in there. I asked him, I said, when's the owner gonna be there? I'd like to talk to him. He's like, I would talk to the owner. The owner's mean. And then he had a story about how the lady that I answered the phone was going through a divorce and she's just angry right now. And I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to order a pizza.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want all this extra. I just want pizza.
No, dude, I feel like I entered an episode of Jerry Springer
Yeah.
by accident, and all I wanted was some chicken wings and some pizza.
Right.
And you brought me into this Jerry Springer episode, and now I got like a group of midgets and white trash beating me up, and I'm pissed. And all I want is pizza. And so I left a really terrible review on there, and and I made a lot of jokes about incest, made a lot of jokes about pizza, and I made a lot of jokes about the name of the place that I can't say on the podcast. It'd be a lot funnier if I could. So
yeah, but
that's
okay.
pretty much it. That's
Dude,
the one review, dude.
I know that's hard. That's a hardcore experience. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that from an establishment.
It was not great. It wasn't great. It was the opposite of great.
Right.
And it's pissed.
Well, okay, so you have a business.
Oh yeah, small business. I got a business. I got a small business.
So you build like fine woodworking stuff.
I specialize in live edge and natural wood.
Okay. And
Meaning that I don't like do molding and
you're not doing you're not doing carpentry stuff, right?
I do carpentry. Yeah,
Okay.
I can do carpentry. I basically get to pick and choose what I specialize in.
And you have an Etsy shop too.
Right.
All right, we'll drop that in if you guys are interested in some really cool. You do charcuterie boards, right? That's where you put meat on them.
Yeah.
You slap some meat on it and some cheese. It's a really cool way to present food, I think. I would never own one myself because they're super fancy and they're affordable, but it's so fancy. I'd rather all my food is served on paper plates.
Oh, dude, I'm sending you a board, man.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll be like a king now.
Yeah, I think it's
delicious
part
hamburger helper.
Yeah.
Plop it right.
Just
plop it right on the board.
Yeah, we'll eat it right off of there with our fingers.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Chopsticks.
Oh, that would be awful. Hamburger helper with chopsticks.
Dude, that's and a sparkling water. Then you're a baller, dude.
Right, but like the dollar Walmart Great Value, like sparkling black cherry water. Tell you,
all the healthy people, man, making all this healthy food, they're just charging you to take the flavor out of food. They're like, man, it costs a lot of money to make tasty food and sell it affordably. Maybe we'll just make it taste worse and sell it for way more.
Whoa.
See, dude, the best food is at Walmart.
Dude, I eat pretty well.
I eat pretty well. Don't take that advice.
But I would love a board, man. I would love a board just to hang it because it's a work of art.
Hang it on the wall?
Yeah.
This is meant to eat food on, but it's a decoration.
Yeah, because they're so beautiful. If you follow him on Instagram, Timberfallco, at Timberfallco, TimberFallco. You can check out his stuff on Instagram, man. It is hardcore. So when Noah's ragging on this business, he knows what he's talking about.
Dude, I know that they're never going to hear this podcast because they probably don't know how to operate technology.
Well, can you connect to YouTube with the bunny ear antennas?
Dude, I don't know. But you put some tinfoil on that chick's teeth, you might be able to get some reception.
That's 5G, right?
5G.
That's the plan for 5G.
It's actually 3G.
So, but yeah, go ahead, go follow.
Timberfall Company. Oh man, I wish I was wearing my shirt. That'd be cool.
Yeah. We didn't really plan on plugging you. Yeah, no, I think that's all I have to talk about today, man. I just
That's fine, dude. I think it's a good time to start closing down shop here.
Right. Have our weekly walkthrough.
Yes, this
Yeah.
is this is good. This is fun. I enjoyed it. Goofs and gaffs, some stories,
Yeah, some
you know,
laughs, some
some
goofs.
laughs, some spaffs.
Yep. And that's all
Yeah,
we can really ask for in life,
yeah, absolutely.
It's people just to hang out and talk to, and
Just
I really, I really wish that I could just see I could hang out with people in my comment section on YouTube. That would be cool if people could go and hang out there and rip apart your mustache and talk about how your penis jokes
yeah.
aren't funny.
It looks like angel wings almost.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty impressed by the separation
it
of
is.
right here.
It's perfectly natural too. It's like I don't do that.
You don't do that. I don't. Do people do that?
I need to take this little tiny bit of the unibrow that's happening in the center and just have it surgically removed and put it right here, and
I
then we'll
think you
be
should
good.
just grow it down into the mustache. I think that's what they're doing now. Because
My
you,
gosh, isn't that's a real thing though? Sometimes.
that's impressive though. I don't have that. I don't have. You have also a disconnect into your beard, which is fairly impressive as well.
It's called the yin yang.
Oh,
Okay,
is that what that's
it's
called?
it's the yin yang, dude.
Oh,
Order and chaos. I am good. I'm a
wow.
walking expression of philosophy.
I learn new things every day about
Yeah,
everybody.
I think we all learned some new stuff today. I think we learned that gnomes eat Skittles. They love Skittles. We learned that shouldn't let your snake sleep in bed with you. Um,
We learned that there are people out there that are really good at sucking poop up through a hose.
oh yeah, that's right. Corn identification,
Yeah, we learned some valid cord identification.
right?
So we've learned a lot, and that's the goal of this podcast. Really, is so that you can walk away with a healthy dose of knowledge, so that you can get knowledge, and so that you are better people for the words that we say. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, I know that you're going to walk away better people from this podcast, particularly. And if you stay to the end, then you have transcended into a new state of being, and I
Yeah,
appreciate you.
yeah. And I think at the very least, you're just going to walk away as a person. So
Right.
that's good.
Go ahead and do that outro.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It was a lot of fun, and we're excited to do more of these. Like, subscribe, share us, and keep watching. And we appreciate you and everything you do. We love you. Peace out.
Stay beautiful.